Okay, so how do we basically then answer the same type of questions from a graph? So on this one, first thing I want to point out is that you are given a velocity function, right? So this is the graph of the velocity. So this is the first derivative. So always important to understand what type of function, what type of graph I have. So when is the particle moving to the right? So if you guys remember, your particle is actually going to be moving to the right, okay, whenever your velocity, okay, is positive. So when my velocity is greater than 0. And how do I know that? Well, it's above the x-axis. So if I'm looking at this, okay, my velocity is above the x-axis right here, and it is above the x-axis right here. So when I go to say it, okay, my velocity is, or my particle is moving to the right from, okay, t is equal from 0 to 1, okay, and and I'm going to kind of estimate that as like 4.7, okay, to 7, right? So that is when my particle is moving to the right. And again, when we're justifying, we would have to say the particle is moving to the right, okay, at from t 0 to 1 and 4.7 to 7 because the velocity is positive, right? Or the velocity is greater than 0. So kind of going back the other way, when is my particle moving to the left? Well, when it's negative, right? So when it's below the x-axis. And so looking at here, it looks like from 1 to r 4.7, right? So my velocity is less than 0 from 1 to 4.7. Okay, when is the particle's acceleration positive, negative, or 0? Okay, so remember the acceleration is really the slope, right? So now we're just looking at the slope of the graph. So they're literally asking you, when is the slope of this graph positive, when is it negative, and when is it 0? All right, so positive looks like from 2 to 6, right? So the slope is positive because the graph is going up. So from 2 to 6. And then when is it negative? Well, it looks like it's negative from 2, from 0 to 2, as well as from 6 to 7. Okay, when is it 0? Well, on this case, we actually do not have a slope of 0, right? So I'm going to say NA, or you can say it doesn't exist, or doesn't happen, right? However you want to do it. When does the particle have the greatest speed? So remember speed, again, understanding that vocabulary, that is just the absolute value of your velocity. So remember, this is a graph of the different velocities that I have, right? So essentially they're asking you when is the highest and the lowest point. Well, I have a velocity, so at t equals 2, my velocity is -2, which means my speed is 2, right? Because it's right there. Okay, and then the same thing here. At t equals 0, okay, my speed is 2. The velocity is +2 and the speed is 2. So when does the particle have the greatest speed? At 0 and, sorry, I don't know what that line is, at 0 and 2. Okay, so at t equals 0 and at t equals 2. Okay, when is the particle speeding up? So remember, speeding up means that your velocity and acceleration, okay, have to have the same sign. So what that means is that it has to be, if it's above the x-axis, it also has to have a positive slope. So when are they both positive? Well, look, from here to here, okay, not only is the velocity above the x-axis, but it's also increasing, right? So it has the same slope. So I would say from 2, okay, from 4.7 to 6, okay? And when are they both negative? Well, right here, they're both below the x-axis and it is going down. So from 1 to 2.